All right. First thing you're gonna do, we need to edit this workspace. So you want to make sure you go to Edit Grid. I'm on my computer. If you're on your iPad, you should have the same options. Your units are already going to be in millimeters. You want to double check that we set a custom size. So the width should be 50 millimeters. The length should be 100 millimeters. You're going to click Update Grid, and your grid should turn into more of a rectangle like this. I also make sure that my snap grid is going by 1 millimeter. And that means all these little blocks, each one is 1 millimeter. Excuse me. So what we're going to do, we're going to create our fin on here. Before I create my fin, one thing that I like to do, if I drag some shapes on here, I like to click this little button right here, switch to flat view. This is going to kind of square things up. I then go from being at the front view or any kind of an angle like I am now, I go to the top view. I like to look at everything from above it. So really quick, I find it easier on the computer. You certainly may use your iPad if you need to or want to. They're all going to work, and your file will actually transfer back and forth between the two. What I'm going to do now on here, I'm going to design what one of my fins looks like. So I've switched to this flat view. I've gone to the top. Now I'm going to use these shapes on this side to piece together what I want my fin to look like. So I'm going to drag this roof on here because I want this triangular shape. And you can see right now, it looks like a square from above. If I rotate a little bit using my mouse, I'm able to click on these little curved arrows here or here. I'm going to use this one, and if I rotate, I'm going to turn this shape. Now, if I'm outside of this like circle here, I can rotate it by 1 degree at a time. If I'm inside, it's going to kind of snap to different degrees, preset angles, and I want 90. So I'm going to drop it there. If I go over here and go back to top, now look, it's a perfect triangle. Drag it into my work plane. I need to create within this grid. It can't be outside of the grid. If it's outside of the grid, it's too big. And now I'm going to manipulate what I want this to look like. I can stretch it and change the shape of it. So let's rotate this. I think I want it to be angled. So if my rocket body tube runs here, I'm going to imagine that. I can honestly, if I bring like a box here to simulate, like if this is my body tube, right, this isn't going to be part of my fin, but I want my fin to attach, on the side here of the body tube. What do I want it to look like? So maybe I have it stretch way down here, something like that to start out. Maybe I want to angle this a little bit more. So if I use on my keyboard, I can copy this shape that I already have and I can paste it to create multiple copies of this. I think I can also click this button here that's duplicate and repeat. Yeah. So with this selected, I have to have one of my shapes selected, and I can tell because it has a box around it. If I click this button, it's going to create a second copy. Now I don't want that third copy, so I'm going to hit the trash can and it will delete that copy. So I'm going to take this and reposition this so that I can use a portion of it down here. And something like that, maybe. Now let's fill in some of this empty space. If I zoom in, I want everything to match up. I want this side to match up. And I want to close off this space. You know what? I kind of want this to be angled. right here. I want to fill in this triangular space. So let's duplicate this. And I think because it's a triangle, this area, I can actually duplicate that and use that by rotating it. I need to rotate it this way also, I think, right? Oh, I know what I need to do. I need to flip it. There we go. Flip it this way. Now we got it. Okay. Need to rotate a little bit more. All right, it looks like a mess right now, so let's clean it up. I'm going back to my top view. Let's drag this into that space. Let's shrink it down to the right size. There, that looks better. Yeah, okay, everything looks pretty good. Once you have the shape that you want, what I need to do is I still have 3 separate triangles at this point. I want to create one cohesive triangle, one combined triangle. So I'm going to click each triangle. And I actually need to hold on my computer the shift key. If you're on your iPad, just click each one in order. So click 1, 2, 3, and it should select all 3 together. On the computer, I have to hold the shift key while I click each one. I have them all collected now, and I'm going to come up to this button that says group, and it should combine them all. You see these lines that had divided my 3 triangles, they disappear, and it is now one triangle. I'm not worried that it's going below the shape. That's fine. That's going to pretty much finish this off. In my next video, I'll show you how to go ahead and turn this in.